Hi fellow crafters, it's Susan. Welcome back to my studio. Today we are going to spend some time going through some pages. And the reason I'm doing this now is I normally will keep these in a 3-ring type binder, which I'll share with you later. And then when I've outgrown it, which I really have, I'll start separating the pages out to their permanent homes. So I want to share these with you and kind of do a walkthrough before I put them away permanently. The ones that can come out of their page protectors, I have done that. Some of them you'll see I've had to leave in because they have flip-flops attached to them. And I'll explain that later if you don't know what that is. For right now, let's roll the intro and we'll get started. Okay, we're back. First I wanted to, before we go through this big stack, I wanted to show you the albums that I work with. So this is what's called a post-bound album. And you'll take these screws off right here, and then you'll load your pages in, let's see if I can show this on the camera, these posts, and then you'll screw them back on. And, you know, it's kind of a big job. That's why I don't do it, because I'd have to keep putting things in and out because I don't scrapbook chronologically. The way I scrapbook is I let kind of the paper talk to me, if you will, talk to me and tell me, you know, what picture should I be using for that? So what will happen, let me just take 2 pages out here. In a post-bound album, your pages are going to come together like that, really close up, or it'll look like one continuous piece. In a 3D album, which some people really like too, and actually I really like, they are going to be separated a little. So anyways, let's get the walkthrough started. Let me first show you my 3-ring binder. There's that, so you can kind of see, let's see if I can demonstrate this. So here you'll see how the pages are going to be separated. Once I get my stuff into a post-bound album, I'll share that with you. But for right now, let's just do this walkthrough so I can get some of these pages tucked away. If these have process videos, I will let you know. And if not, I'll also let you know. Okay, this is going back to my newborn photo. And I think this is called Sweet Memories, this collection, and this does have a process video on it. I love the doilies on here. And here are all my stats over here about what I weighed when I was born, all that kind of information. And here is a page. If you follow my channel, you'll see that I've got my iPad over here so I can follow what I'm showing you. This is a trip that my daughter and I took back in 2002 when we went up the coast from Orange County, California to San Francisco. And she and I both love photography, so this was kind of a photography tour of California that we absolutely had a blast. Rented a convertible and had the time of our lives. This is before she was married. So we got to have some, you know, one-on-one time together. So this was at the Santa Barbara Mission. I used this, and this I used on my Cricut. I'm kind of having a love relationship with my Cricut right now because I've just learned how to use it. This page, and again, you'll have to excuse the glare. Let me see if I can get rid of it. This was a picture when I'm 6 months old, and back then, to get a colored photo, you had to hand tint it. I've used the Sweet Memories collection again. This is what's called the flip flap here. So you can add more pages, more pictures, to a page. And here I've listed, recently I just found these shoes right here. So the flip flaps just enable you to add more photos per page, which is a huge plus. Then, and that, I'm not sure if I said it or not, but that is a process video. Here are more photos, heritage photos that I documented of myself at 2 years old. And we use the Love More, Forevermore collection. It's no longer available, I'm so sorry, but there is a process video on how I had done this. This was done with stamps. Here's some black velvet ribbon. Here's some sparkle kind of gems. And I had these, anything that's gingham I love. So I had these in my stash from ages ago. This is another stamp that I just stamped and cut out. And I think that does it on that page. I'm happy to get these pictures tucked away because they were getting a little damaged. You can tell I'm going through and doing a bunch of older photos these days. As I've gotten older, it's really important for me to have this for my children. This is a picture set that my mom had taken when I was 2.5 years old. And I've always loved these pictures. Again, done with the Sweet Memories collection, which is perfect title here. And I love it. I really like this pages. And this is a new collection that's getting ready to come out, and I did not do a process video with this one. These are my two munchkins when they were little, and this will be coming out the first week in March. I had to get that, so I have a feeling this one's going to fly right out. So if you're wanting this, cross that off for March 1st, and I'll talk more about that as, sorry, my iPad keeps falling down. I'll talk more about this as that time comes up so that can be ordered then. Here's another one of those pages made with the same paper set, and there was not a process video that I had done on this. This is my daughter on Easter when she was 5 years old. But it looks a lot like quilting, which is what I loved because it reminds me of her. She's a great quilter. This one there is not a process video on. My husband and I and a little girl that's important in our lives, I did some journaling on this, oh my goodness, on this little tag here. I've forgotten that I've combined a lot of collections with these two pages, and I've forgotten the names of them, and I'm going to start writing them down so I can share that with you. This is something I had from the company that makes a lot of the like acrylic cutouts. I've forgotten the name of the company, please forgive me. And this is down here, that's from that company too. If you want to know the company for these, let me know down below and I will certainly find that for you. I love these pictures. Now this one, these coming up are from a collection that's presently out there in the January, February catalog. My husband last year on his 67th birthday, and we've just celebrated his 68th. But I love this collection. It's just happy, it's bright. I just love it. And the numbers here I cut out with that same collection. You can get a die with it. And I think I leveled up like 4 of these. I glued together like 4 of these sets of numbers to give it some height and dimension. I did the same thing with some of the balloons. I added dimensional dots on these. That comes with some acrylics, and I added the acrylics on here to the party hats. Did some stamping here, stamping up here, and then I've also done some tinting up here, really soft behind the numbers to kind of make them pop out. I did that with some inks. And there is a process video on that if I didn't mention that. This is last year when we had some visitors in Arizona. There isn't a process video on this. I still need to put a title on this. This is from the new set also that will be coming out in March. And this was a visit that we made last year to the butterfly exhibit at, oh, I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's Desert Arboretum, I think, in the Phoenix area. And this time of year, it's just beautiful. The trees, like all the yellow is beautiful. But the set, I love this detail of looking like it's folded back paperwork. The triangles here, I'm going to use this kind of die cutting again. I thought it was really fun. And I am, anytime there's a plaid, I'm in. So there's that. This, I'm going to cover this up because this is personal. I should have covered this up before. This was from the same visit when we had some family come and visit us in Arizona. And from that new set that's coming out in March. This was out around Christmas time. I've forgotten the name. Let's see if I wrote it down. I did not. Just love it. I wanted to see like this was kind of a snow-capped area, and I just love it. I just think it says seasonal. We're here in Washington now, and it just reminds me of our new home. This is just a fun one. I love it. It's from the Gnomes of Winter collection. And I just love this little guy. These papers, the colors, they just make me happy. Here we have some acrylic pieces, which were in the workshop, I believe. Don't hold me to it. Then you could order separately the die cut of the gnome. And I added some silver foiling onto his little ice skates down here. I love it. It's happy. So there's that page. Again, there's some private stuff here, so I'm going to cover that up. This was a couple years ago when we were at a pumpkin farm. And this was from the Cozy Up collection from this last fall. This one just makes me laugh. This was my husband and I. We've been very fortunate to go to Hawaii several times. And I'm sorry, there's glare. Let's see if I can get rid of it. But there are a total of 6 flip-flops here. And then under each flip-flop, I have 2 more photos under each one of these, which is nice. What was the name of this one? It was an old collection from close to my heart. And it was mainly around Christmas in sunny areas, Florida, Hawaii, whatever. And I used what was appropriate for us. And then my husband and I were there on Christmas Day. So we went to the beach and we wore our Santa hats at the beach. And this layered die cut is from Tim Holtz. That was the hardest paper piecing I've ever done. So I did that and I then donated that. Here, these are the sets that are pretty much done for you, if you will, when you get them. But I went ahead and you can dress them up as little as you can. These sets are more for the beginners or for a child if they want to sit and scrapbook with you. But I've also gone ahead and dressed it up a little. This is Balboa Park in San Diego. If you ever get a chance, you should go. But I've taken these and I've colored these in with my tri-markers, which are these. I have a whole set of them, and there's 3 different shades of the same color in one pen. And I've done that up in here. And then I've had these little like felt balls in my collection forever. They're very dimensional, so I'm obviously not going to use too many in one album because they'll make your album a lot thicker. And then over here, I've added like these rickrack tones. And then on this piece, I don't know if you can see it, right down here, it's round. It comes in the set also. The rickracks don't. This, I didn't care for what the words were saying, so I tucked it underneath my photo, and I took some inks in here and just kind of did some shading on that. And this I did with my Cricut, and I like the way that turned out a lot. Kind of did my inks and just kind of did an ombre effect. It only went partially up on the letters. Here I've again left these in the sheet protectors because there are flip-flops all over these. So my husband on Thanksgiving cutting up, it looks like the ham, and some photos in there. And then over in here, I've got some more photos and my daughter pregnant with our grandson. And I like here that I had done the cutting out, or I did die cuts to do these on the sides, and I just like the way that that reads. There and over here, it's just, it's a little bit more modern. I tend to either go modern or vintage. It just doesn't seem to be a lot in between. So I like those pages. I think there's a process video on that. There is a process video. This is a trip my husband and I took to Yosemite back in 2008, I believe. I'm sure it's here somewhere in the details. And I put looks like some adhesive lettering in here. I cut out some pine needles with the die cut that we have. This is a collection. I think it's still available. I'm gonna have to start marking these. I really am. So when I show you these, I'll know which ones they're from, because I'm almost positive this is still available. This is a stamp that I stamped and then I cut out with a die cut. So are the round circles. I love this one, this die cut. This is a stamp and a die cut that we offer, and it is still available. Lots of fun memories with these pages for me. This was a page that got a lot of attention. I think it's because of the bright, bright colors. This is my girlfriend's 50th anniversary, and if you've ever heard of the Red Hat Society, this was her initiation into the Red Hat Society for her 50th birthday, and I had a lot of fun using the colors on this. Obviously, it's bright, 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 but that's very appropriate for the Red Hat Society. The whole thing is we can wear red hats and mix it with purple and no one cares. In other words, when you get to a certain age, you don't care what people think. And I would probably have to agree with that. So just, go out and live your life and make yourself happy and the people you love happy. So anyways, enough of that. Get off my soapbox. So this was a fun page. Did a lot of hand shading on all of these flowers up in here. Then I just cut out some circles with a very large, I think it's a 3.5 inch punch that I have. And I believe that's called Limeade, that color of paper. This purple paper is Royal. And then I went on and just typed this on my computer. And then I cut out the layering I did here, and I did some obviously of this paper. I typed down here everyone that was in the photos and the date. This is a stamp set that's still available, and obviously it's the same number set that I used on the page for my husband's 67th birthday. Turned out great. I really like it. The colors are definitely there. There is a process video on, and this goes back to the trip that my daughter and I took up the coast. This has quite a few flip-flaps on it, and what's nice about this flip-flaps is when you have children, and we have some little munchkins in our family, when they're looking through, you can just kind of wipe things off and your extra pictures aren't out there kind of floating around. Here's some more. This is about this was the journaling for that page. Fun day. This is one of the pages I just came out yesterday on my channel, I think. It's either yesterday or the day before. This was my daughter and I when we hit Napa, and various different sets and stamps I've been using. I've been kind of going through my stash. I believe this is from Cozy Up set. This is Cozy Up. This are from wood grain die cuts, and I think those are linked down on the process video. These I did on my Cricut. I cut the circles out on my Cricut. The wine bottle I cut out on the Cricut also, and I did the date of our trip here in the middle of the wine bottle and put that there. And I also used texture stamps on here in a couple different places. They're here, here, and down here. This was a 2-page layout. There is a process video on this one. When you first look at this, this doesn't look like there's much here as far as techniques go, but there were. If you look really closely, it's hard to see on screen, but I took a stencil, a bubble stencil that I had in my stash, took my Capri ink and Journey inks and came through and did some stenciling on here. And on some of the bigger circles, I took, first it was Capri on to keep the bubbles light. Then I came in on some of the bubbles and I used my Journey. This is a stamp, or I guess, excuse me, a stamp from one of our sets. I stamped it and then came back in with some Stickles glitter. I cut the fish and the coral out on my Cricut. Then I also did some, if you look here, I did some shading with some stamps. So it starts out dark here and goes light here. And so I did that. And then I came in with some Stickles, the glitter Stickles. It's like a gummy glue, if you will, and it has glitter in it. And I rubbed that on those and let that sit for a while. Then over here, I did the same thing. Again, these were cut out from my Cricut. Then I did 3D tape on these to have this one fish stick up from this. And I think last but not least, I came in with my dots, my enamel dots, and I believe these are also in the color Capri, and put those on there. And that's the day that we went to the Monterey Aquarium. I'm almost towards the end of that trip with recording everything. This is, I don't know if there's a process video on this one or not. I'm not sure. I'm kind of 80% sure that there is. This was on our trip also. We stopped up at a winery in like south of San Francisco. My daughter's father-in-law plays with Chris Isaac, and we went up. This is Chris here signing a bunch of autographs, and we were in a winery that night for the concert. Here I've done my journaling and stuck those in here. Those are die cuts and that I just put together. And I have a die cut of the little ring here and then some strings, and came through on this and did some die cutting and glued those on there. The pocket is from my stash from Allie Edwards. And the paper here is still available, and it's called Skylark. Ha! I did it. I remembered that one. And I thought this turned out really happy, real fun. But that was a really special night. It was an outdoor concert, and this was the view from where we were sitting on top of a hill at a concert. It's not a very good picture, but it gets the idea across. That was the view we had while we were enjoying the concert. This, I think there's another page to that. Maybe not. Anyways, this is in San Luis Obispo, if you've ever been up that way. This is called the Apple Farm Inn. This is a really special place. Someone I had worked with at that point told me about this place when my daughter and I were planning this trip. And we went there, and I have a very big heart for children that are disabled, in particular Down syndrome children. And all of the help they have for cleaning their rooms are Down syndrome children or young adults. And I just thought that was so special. So if you're ever in the area, please do stop by and show them some love. A beautiful place. I put these pictures in here because you can obviously see, hopefully, that, you know, this was back in, what was it, 2002 that we went. The rooms are a little dated back then. They're now dated. Back then it was beautiful. It was all the chintz floral fabrics. And here's another flip flop, and here kind of shows our room. And they have a phenomenal restaurant right there attached to the hotel. Actually, it's in the same parking lot, and everything Apple in there. Oh, make sure you go in there. Some stamps I had, and then a room stamp, like a room key, and I put our room number on there. So really fun memories again. Isn't that why we all do this anyways, right? This was from my 31st birthday, and I know that there is a process video on this one. And back to that birthday collection that's out right now in the January, February catalog. And very good friends. This is when I was in the wedding industry and I was an event planner. I did that for many, many years up at the Ritz-Carlton in Dana Point, California. And a lot of these people are the people that I worked with every weekend, kind of the team I hired out. So we had a blast. The cake maker that I worked with a lot, Linda, she made this special cake for me. When you popped open the cake box, that was the truffle she had with 31 on it, my age at that point. But isn't this collection is just happy? And then I took the dies here and I did some shaker pockets, although I made them just a little bit too tight, I think. They don't shake a whole lot, but they're three-dimensional. And for the years, obviously for my birthday. Did some hand tinting or hand coloring over here with my tri-blend markers. Fun pages, happy pages. There is a process video on this one. This is the time that my children and I went up to the snow. I don't know, yeah, no, I didn't have the date on this one, but I would guess my son to have been maybe 10, I'm not sure. But we went up to Big Bear and went in the snow. And these were die cuts that came with this set. This is a stamp that I had, stamped it, die cut it out, and hand colored it. Again, these are the pine needles that I cut out and used here. This was a fence from the Cape Cod collection, and I'm not sure, I have this both, I had the workshop, so I may have had some left over, but I also have this digitally. And if you didn't know, Close to My Heart has not all of the sets, but many of the collections come with an SVG file or files. And it's a very good way to get these items, but use them in a much more economical way. Excuse me. Here are some boots that I hand tinted, and then I came up here with some some glitter pens and did some glittering here. These are supposed to be like snowballs, and I did some glittering on that. And I also did some flecking with my glitter pens, and you can see, hopefully, up here, there is some silver glitter pen splashing, if you will. And these are pages that I think just came out in the last day or two. Let me see. This is of my beautiful grandmother. I still need to come in and put her name down here. And those were just recent, so you can go back and look at those. And these are of my grandparents. I was very fortunate to find here a war ration, a page from that book from my grandmother, just to kind of show the times that they lived through. I miss them terribly. And this is a page that hasn't come out yet, but I will share with you. I believe it comes out on Monday. So when you see this video, it will have come out like 2 days ago. So I like this one because it's a lot of tone on tone. It's more neutrals. I liked it. It looks a little bit more modern to me. I did stamping on, what's the color of that paper? Toffee paper. The black and the black paper here are sets that are no longer available. I'm so sorry. But I did stamp these on that toffee paper and just cut them out. And I use both the darker side of the paper and the lighter side of the paper, and I combine both of the tones in the floral and leaves, and I like that little bit of dimension and contrast it offers. And the date down here, and this was just today we drove around Napa and did a bunch of photography. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know, and thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.